I do like singing a decent bit in my free time, just in my normal life. I can't do it recorded. I could have sung along with them. For church, I've sung it in German because that's just something Midwest Lutherans do. But I ain't singing shit. Hey, welcome back to more Limbus Company. I'm SlayerMathis, and last time we entered the village of Call and saw that Sinclair has some problems, and Dante started asserting himself a little. This time, Holy Night. It's just a battle, so I'll cut it out. Well, okay, according to the fucking page on it, the marker, whatever you want to call it, is... So yeah, I'll be cutting this out. Pretty easy fight. Again, we're still at the point in the game where we very much can just win rate. Like, we haven't really had any fights that we felt, that I felt the need to do anything but win rate. But, trust me, we are starting to get to there. I was gonna do that between episodes, but I got too excited. You can very easily tell when I'm doing stuff in the same recording session because of the energy. Beside bodies pile up like landfill in the corner of the town. Some of them were so conscious, letting out pain bones. The Inquisitors paid no heed. They strenuously jammed nails through each of their victims' chests over and over, executing their pure intent. I've surely pierced their heart, yet still a pulse remains in their body. It must be patched with steel. Even the core of their humanity has been tainted by heresy. How filthy! A disgrace to flesh and bone! The Inquisitors began carefully pouring a bottle of liquid over the pathetic person in what looked like a solemn ritual. Judging from the pungent smell, it was most certainly oil. Imbibe the oil of humanity, ye heretical soma! Those who cannot return to the earth find solace in scattering to smoke. A lead match was then thrown onto the pile, letting rise a huge flame. With the sounds of sparks flying about, the air is soon filled with an acrid smell. It's not quite like the smell of burning flesh. Spreading fire finally brings the crackling glimmer in those prosthetic bodies to permanent darkness. This hellscape is their idea of purification, rather stern plain. Nuggle and Hammer always has been devoted to scrutinizing the idea of humanity. Some critics cite prosthetic uses. They believe that pain is a necessary component of the human experience. However, it never escalates to the extent of direct action that we're witnessing now. Been meaning to ask, how do you know so much about Incorp? I was once employed by Incorp. Huh? You used to work with those people? I've never worked with those specific individuals, but in terms of affiliation, you can say that I did. Come to think of it, this might be the first time I've heard Merceau actively talk about himself. He would rarely recount anything related to him. Perhaps he felt it wasn't necessary to speak at all. Why didn't you tell us that earlier? You're one of those freaky weapons, then? I'll need to elaborate. The hell? Why don't you explain what makes you different from those nuts, then? Listen, mate, as much as I like to call a daft man to clockface, I don't think they deserve by any means to be on the stake with the chocolate block. That's if I can talk big about purifying and all that. Well, I see all are a bunch of loonies just need an excuse to kill, eh? Speak up, then! You like those screw-loose and bucketheads? There was a time when I thought about such things, though I did not come to a conclusion. I want that damn conclusion now! Get up and butcher old tone folk you managed to say so! Must you give an answer? That is not aid us in handling our work. Employee must follow their employee's orders. They must regularly present and state as much. If the manager orders me to do such a thing, I will do it. I may provide my input if I am told that is necessary. I do not have the habit of rambling my thoughts unprompted. Pardon? You found the twist? You got a chunk of metal for your brain like the folks here? I'm 16% proteins, 60% water, 7% minerals, and so forth. I'll include different in terms of proper composition. Moreover, unnecessary heavy metals do not comprise any portion of my body. That is another difference. Heathcliff's face contorted with frustration. Merceau was already an enigma, and he felt ever more distant after this conversation. Now that you mention it, it's something I've been wondering. I've been thinking of whether manager Dante should be seen as human. What do you mean? What if when dear Dante is speaking, it's actually clocking that the person that you know is Dante behind those words? Eh? You're trying to tell me you're being led by an actual clock? Good grief, you're reaching uncharted depths of idiocy with your theories. Can we bother to refute them? Don't misunderstand. I do like our Dante with their clock-headedness. Honestly, same. Why just give up on your old head, stick with that one? I know it's probably not going to be the case, but what if Dante's real head turned out to be super evil or something? Well, there's only one of us who knew about our manager Bud's past. resides naturally fell on Faust. That's confidential information. It is access restricted to the highest security level. And I get the feeling I won't be able to read it for myself. It's only natural. I have no idea who or what I originally was, so I had nothing at my disposal to refute Hong Lu's light-hearted accusation. Maybe he's right, and I really am just a clock. If I ask Faust, there's no telling she'll give me a real answer, and I won't be able to discern the truth in such a thing either. There's even a slim chance the real Dante is hidden away somewhere, and I'm some advanced imitation trained to believe I have free will. In any case, sitting here and ruminating won't get me anywhere. Who knows? Maybe I'll melt this thing on the wall when I found my real head. Ishmael sent me a chastising glare for even suggesting something like that, but she had no choice other than to shrug. Well, it is true. Again, like, Kanto 1 and 2 are... They have their moments for sure. Kanto 2 is unabashed fun at the very least. But again, it's Kanto 3 that things, like... There's a noticeable step in quality from Kanto 3 onwards. And a lot of it is scenes like that, where we're getting to see, you know, the characters interact and really discuss with each other and, you know, learn a little bit more about these very well-written, very interesting characters. Again, like, for understandable reasons, a lot of gacha characters aren't super in-depth. Jesus, that was it? A lot of gacha characters aren't super in-depth because that's not really the point of them. You're supposed to have, you know, good, bite-sized, fun characters, but Limbus' characters are super well-written. They're super just well-rounded as just... You know, they have their own... They're all their own characters, and they never stray away from that. Okay, and what should we do now? Move quietly, we might be able to pass the other visitors unnoticed. Dante, I'd like to apologize in advance. As a dog, I'm not as experienced with fighting like the others. My foes might jab me in the heart over and over for that. Will you bear that for me? Sinclair was trembling so badly that'd be pitiful for anyone to witness. I could tell he was desperately trying to suppress his fear. It wouldn't be the first time Sinclair has died. Whenever he bit the dust, I made sure to bring him back. But today, he's merely asking for my understanding. I look determined to confront him directly, even if it means he'll die again and again. Feeling quite unlike the fight as a usual fright the usual battle evokes. Maybe he's holding the kind of fear that comes with certain courage. In that case, you scared, Sinclair? Sinclair suddenly turned around and gave me a startled look. Did I say something weird? No, it's just... I was waiting for a friend who asked me the same question. Sinclair opened his mouth after a brief pause. His voice cracked. I agree with what Eclipse said. Said it or not, you would have been the same person regardless, Dante. I guess the same could be said for my family. Thanks, Sinclair. It's nothing. I can't even be too thankful I'm about to make you suffer by throwing my life away. Just I realized that I forgot to ask what he said in response to the same question his friend had. Sinclair had already charged into the fray. Again, like, we do dig into a little bit of Roja and Gregor with Kantos 1 and 2, but again, Kanto 3 is when I really feel like the game hit its stride, where I feel like PM's writing started to really click big time. And the thing is that, without a doubt, of the... You know, the post-lull period, I guess we'll call it, the post-intro period of the game's story. This one is by far the weakest in terms of story. Again, like, it's obviously it's not bad by any means. Again, it's awesome seeing Sinclair kind of go through this, being very vocal, and seeing Dante kind of, you know, come into their role as manager more. But it still is far and away the weakest of the Kantos we've had. And, like, the thing is, I could say thus far, but Project Moon's writing is to the point where I feel like it has consistently improved time in and time out, whether that's between Kantos or you know, just between games. Again, Limbus Corp had a solid story, or a good story even, but it was kind of tertiary. It felt secondary to the gameplay in a decent sense. Like, obviously, the not realizations, the meltdowns were something, the stories that they had were notable, but, like, it definitely was kind of just a startup thing. Meanwhile, Library gets the big story going on, where you have a lot, again, just a lot of stuff going on with Library, and the story basically keep picking up, and then obviously you take a step down in Cantos 1 and 2 because you're at the start of a new game, but it still is very good. And then you get on to Canto 3 and you start picking up towards around Star of the City. Not quite Star of the City level, I would think. That's not until Canto 4, but you're right back up to Urban Plague? Plague? Nightmare? One of the two, I don't remember the order. We start getting to that level of writing, and it's just incredible seeing Project Moon's writing, and again, each Kanto gets better and better after each one. You can make an argument for pretty much anything from 5 to... 5 to 8. But I think 8 has the highest peaks right now, but yeah. Anyways, Sinclair's home was the largest mansion in the neighborhood, standing at the innermost part of town. One could see from a distance that a huge flame was engulfing the estate. It took a moment to try and imagine what this town could have looked like during its peaceful times. Bringing to mind the times that the trees we saw near the town still had lush, verdant leaves. How Sinclair would have been during those times, or when everyone around him had died. I couldn't paint a clear picture of either happiness or despair. Nonetheless, I only hope that Sinclair can brace himself for the misfortune he'll soon have to face. This is awful, to say the least. A courtyard that could have once been a vast, flourishing garden was now full of nails erected tall. A variety of prosthetic bodies were pierced by those towering nails. And the house was enveloped in ferocious flame, ready to consume everything around it. While everyone's attention was drawn to the prostheses, Sinclair's eyes drifted to the corner of the yard. The graves, they're dug up? Following his gaze, I could see 3 graves that were violated. Sinclair's expression alone was enough for me and all of the other sinners to guess where they were for. To execute the dead. This is nothing short of deathless work. Father, mother, and sister. The family he mentioned. That's where they should be resting. Halt! In uniform, straight ahead! That whistling. I mean, it's just too funny when you think about it. Someone walked out of the burning household. Her laugh was simply sinister in every way imaginable. Why put so much effort into burying bodies that can't even rot? Am I right? Kromer. I'm sure you'll find them around here somewhere if you look hard enough. Do you remember knowing those 3? Be a good boy and I might just tell you where they are. Well, Sinclair, you've grown a spine, coming all the way here. And now the one to look at the few dead bodies too, right? Why? Just why all this? Sinclair couldn't even speak properly. Where did our 4 team get off to? We gotta turn up at this point. Sinclair's got some buddies. Waiting for the other filthy rat. Let's stop getting here. Okay. Watch closely. I'll turn on the lights, so open your eyes wide. Ta-da! Effie was barely breathing. His limbs had been cut away and deformed prostheses deformed prosthetics were clearly lodged into place. Effie! He was too mutilated to even speak a single word. In his current state, it will take around 2 days for him to completely die. The pole piercing through him will only amplify suffering. Then, manager, I've never met to end his life with as little pain as possible. It's one that's all many uses, in fact. And I asked you to give me the order. I looked at both Gregor and Ishmael. They gazed back at me as if in acknowledgement, dropped their heads low and bit their lip. I understood what that meant. Rest in peace. The collar of Otis' clothes brushed against the wind. In silence. Then it broke in Kromer's roaring laughter. same tactic. Here's something else break. Really? It's hilarious for you to even to watch. Oh, you care for each. It's hilarious to watch you all care for each other when you all meet the same fate anyway. Brings you back, doesn't it, Sinclair? Your face back then was real priceless. Kromer, you have to die. I think that's the right way. You'll die by my... He was interrupted by the sound of a nail dragging across the floor. Mosquito. We thought we had failed him with our best. Not a scratch on his body now. It was all as if his injuries had healed that short time. He seemed to walk towards us in perfect condition to seek the sinners. Rendered speechless, all they can muster from their hearts is a deep groan of contempt. Guido, why don't take out the others? Forgive my ineptitude, O one who grips. My incompetence allowed them to escape. You have to stay alert. You have no what's hidden under those cursed steel craniums. I shall keep your word at heart, O one who grips. Since the reunion's over, I'll be heading back. Kromer turns around to walk to the burning mansion. Kromer! Get back here! I swear you! I'll grab you with my hand! Nope, Sinclair! It's always been the other way around. A long smirk danced across Kromer's face. It's hard to tell if it's the violent blaze or Kromer's vice that is consuming the other. And then, I am the one who grips. Ooh. I know I said I'd get to the dungeon. I don't think I will. Again, I am still very much getting back into the swing of recording. And I think the Kromer voice doing that for the first time has made me slightly lightheaded. And it makes my throat hurt, that too. That plus Guido's voice. Again, plus the still getting back into thing. Oh, okay, the whistle. Right. So, from the, for the next couple battles, we do get whistles going through. It's every couple turns, and Sinclair loses, I want to say it's 10 SP. It might be more. Fanatic is a status that will deal extra skill power against units with nails. There is the N-Corp identities. They do have Fanatic of their own, however, it is slightly different. I believe our identities Fanatic is a damage up instead of a power up, if I recall. Again, I'm just going off the top of my head. I could be wrong with that, but I believe that is the case. Anyways, bring forth the haunts. I hope someone attacks Heathcliff. But judging from the fact that I already see Delahan on there, I don't think haunts. Well, I don't think we're getting the counter. We're not getting haunts. Also, yeah, the Hongler died. Horse. Behold, horse. God damn. There are a couple of identities that have, like, quote-unquote alternate forms, or, like, you know, second forms or whatever. But, and I want to say Wild Hunt is the was the first. But, regardless, it's probably the most hype. No matter what, before use. Is it before every skill? Turn and we have the skill up. Yeah, we should be triggering Lament Mourn Despair as the counter. Oh, especially with the SP gain from the Clash win. Oh, Jesus. Oh my god, that is so much damage. Oh, that is so much damage. And I have no attack weight. Fuck. They're both resurrected right now. They're both in Wild Hunt. Oh boy. Yikes. Fucking Snag Harpoon, I guess. And of course, because she is actively deceased right now, no dialogue. Okay. Nice, okay. If Heathcliff could survive this turn, that'd be fucking sick. But I have my doubts. Oh, but if they all target Yisong... Okay, okay. Alright. So... this will be interesting. I just need to use 3 counters. Yeah. Okay. Not okay, damn it. Okay, we lose this fight. I was really hoping we'd get some staggers in there. Ah, well. Another very nice thing about Limbus, I don't recall how a lot of gacha games handle this, but if you lose, it costs us 20 to get into the fight. We only spend, you know, we effectively only spend 1. And we'll get everyone up to 23 right now. Pop on a pair of level 4 tickets. Get this all up to a nicer level. God, I really need new IDs. But, alas, recommended level 25 when we're at 23 with our folks. So, yeah. I'll speed this fight up until Guido arrives. Okay, he's not quite here yet, is Guido, but close enough. Yeah, just the difference that a few levels makes. Again, just the offense level. I think we also did have a change of luck as well. Something I also realized just now was I absolutely could have used Memorial Procession because that has attack weight. But well, it would have been nice to some ego would be very nice to have. Like, Heathcliff, I don't think I'm really going to ever be in need of a new ID for Heathcliff. Because we have... Guido's not in this fight? I could have sworn. Also, just because of how much energy I had left. I think I will, my voice be damned, get to the dungeon. Again, mainly just because I still had a lot of energy. I don't want to waste it. I say waste it. It still would be going to the, would still be going to PE boxes. PE boxes, whatever. Well, Sinclair did not make his delivery on time and fucking died.
언제 다 해치웠다? 이제 가도 되죠?
Scheiterhaufen! 27, Jesus Christ, levels are ramping up. Hey, wait! Sinclair leapt forth to chase Kromer before anyone could stop him. However, he's blocked by the remaining N-Corp Inquisitors. In response, he swings his weapon with a tremendous force I never thought he could exert, crushing the head of the one who grabbed him. The Inquisitor collapses to the ground before even a gasp would escape their mouth. Sinclair would normally keep to the back of the group. This was the first time I saw him charge in unprompted like that. What have you been drawing in the back for if you do that? I remember with clarity I had ended your lives. I undoubtedly witnessed torn brain tissue spill through the cracks in your skulls. Yet here you heretics are, before me on your feet. Now the one who can blame about miraculous recoveries. Guido examines me closely with his piercing glare. Then slowly nods as if his observation gave him the knowledge he needed. You there, the one possessing the head of a heretic. You must be the false shepherd enticing this herd into blasphemy. He needs to nudge his chin at the nailed corpse in the courtyard. They committed the grave sin of entering the site of hallowed rites with their unclean bodies. Thus, they have been punished with the same penalty as heretics receive. They have also been subjected to the humiliation of bodily mechanical intrusions being installed against their will. But you are different. The sin of worshipping a heretic is less severe than indulging in heresy oneself. Therefore, as long as you are willing to repent and cleanse your minds of sin, we, the Hammer, are willing to demonstrate forgiveness. So I implore you, ye pitiable and foolish sinners, led astray by temptation, shake off the allure of that false miracle and kneel before me! The confrontation came to a standstill. No one seemed to be willing to speak first. So you've all been under my spell all along? Who'd have thought that? I tried cracking jokes to lighten the mood a little, but no one laughed. Dante, that man just insulted you. He doesn't see you as a human being. I mean, you guys call me Clockface all the time, too. That's not the same at all! Besides, I've never used that nickname. Ishmael grunted. You think throwing some fancy words around will be enough to persuade us, huh? Listen up, faceplate. You're the one that needs a little shaking off. This will be your human brain just as effective. You were given ample opportunity. You are no different from those we hung and nailed after all. I am a hammer. I am a tool for the one who grips, tasked with the great mission of piercing the false flesh of heretics. I shall bind thee to a nail, and lay thee down furthest from soil, for he who shan't repent. When are you gonna finish your stupidly long taunt? Is not granted rest beneath the earth. I definitely locked into more of a better, easier Guido voice for my foolish throat. My foolish heretical throat. Gotta imagine a prosthetic throat. Just prosthetic throat. Not the full head, just the throat. Fucking wild in what people will be doing with that. Honestly, people were getting prosthetic throats for that purpose. I might be on Noggle and Hammer's side. 2BH. I don't know why I said it like that. 2BH. To be honest. And they're powered up. But luckily, I see. The Hongler has... Huh. It's paralyzed. Well... Oh. Ah, apparently that was only one coin. Paralyzed is, in my opinion, the most difficult status to deal with. Well, regular status to deal with, I should say. Like, obviously, you'll have some fights get unique statuses. Boss fights will have that. I don't think we've had any yet, but Paralyzed is just fucking horrible to deal with. I mean, like, obviously, when it goes to negative coin IDs, like, Paralysis is great, but there's so few negative coin IDs, and it's just painful. In addition, like, Corroded Ego works as well, but right now we don't have that much Ego. Again, I'll be definitely hopping up, you know, I'll be getting a lot of, doing a lot of rolls for Walpurgis Nacht, which, if I had to make an assumption, will be coming up next week as I record this. I'm recording this on the 23rd. So I assume the next banner will be Walpurgis. Could be wrong, but again, that's just kind of the current assumption, I think, from a lot of the community, is that this next upcoming one will be Walpurgis. And I hope it is, because I have not had a Walpurgis in my time playing yet. Can you fucking not? Like, this is my... Yeah, like, I started, I think, like, a couple weeks after the end of the most recent Walpurgis. So many opportunities to play. But yeah, I haven't had a Walpurgis yet, and like, obviously, you know, it does make sense that the IDs that are behind the time-gated event are going to be, you know, very strong. But one thing I actually do really like about it is that none of them, I feel like, are the strongest ID. Like, they're all very good, but none of the strongest of the strong IDs are, like, none of the strongest of the strong IDs are Walpurgis. Which just, it makes things a lot easier to work with. Also, by the way, I forgot to mention, he's Guido the Persistent now. The ground shook as Guido finally fell. I couldn't help but wonder if we really did him in yet. We were too exhausted to bother and take his helmet off to check his breathing. Sinclair was repeatedly jabbing his spear into a dead Inquisitor. The corpse was mangled beyond recognition, its blood and organs spilling all over the floor. Sinclair, calm down. He didn't seem to care about anything other than the body he was set up to destroy. Occasional pants of rage and tearful gasps were all that came out of his mouth. I'll kill them all. I knew stopping him was the right thing to do, but no one dared step in. It was evident that he was too blinded by ire to listen to us. I know of a way most simple to bring him back to his senses! At that, Don Quixote suddenly jumped Sinclair and pinned him to the ground. And then, she started laying into his face. One fist thrown after the other. Shouldn't we do something? Leave him be. The couple of calves hustling isn't worth intervening. A cloud of dust rose up from her ruthless beating. After a while, Don Quixote cut her onslaught. Pray tell, how dost thou feel now? Pardon my rash action. Oft I would find myself overcome by fervor, rampaging much the same as a riderless horse. At such moments, mine old friends help me come to myself by bidding me senseless. 'Twas, at times, the only remedy to the fever that had overtaken me. Ah, so that's for Gillis must be a good friend of yours too, right? Well, tears planks down from Sinclair's bruised eyes. I can't hurt for this. I'll go to my home and skewer that bitch. Skewer her with the stake and then... The rest of his sense was overrun with pain, sobbing. After a while sniffling, Sinclair seemed to calm down as he put a hand to his face and started muttering, I lost everything overnight. Back then, they didn't parade their Noggle and Hammer name around and see large groups like that in the open. But at some point, people started calling themselves Hammers. People calling themselves Hammers started shutting them down one by one and... It's okay, kiddo. You don't need to push yourself. Rodia gently pat him on the back. I still think that sometimes it's all just a bad dream. I'm having trouble waking up. It always comes. Every morning before I open my eyes. Maybe this time I'll wake up and see my familiar feeling, just maybe. After he said that, he broke into tears. It only made sense to wait for him to settle down. I know I mentioned before that Valmori's art, I feel like, doesn't fit a lot of the later Cantos. I did forget about how good those CGs are, to be fair. To be fair. Anyways, I'll skip this fight out. Again, not the most difficult fight. It's, I mean, we have some difficult fights here and there, but obviously Wild Hunt makes things easier. I say, as he's not the MVP. Underpath, that is a lot of enemy types. We entered the charred mansion, and Sinclair led us to the basement. Way up the door, a long underpass leading to an unknown destination was revealed to us. To think there'd be a tunnel down here. So, if my guess is right, and this passage should lead to the branch facility. Given the shifty shaft in the basement. I wasn't here before. What? How do you know we ought to go to the basement? It's like how magnetic fields draw a compass needle toward northward. That's probably my intuition. Isn't that what it is? You bring us along as sensors from the bows. Sinclair quietly looked at Faust. Instead of answering him, she strode past him and stood before the door. Judging from the material, this tunnel seems to have been made relatively recently. It was likely dug by N-Corp's expeditionary forces when they had occupied the town. It won't be a short trip. Given that this passage is excavated for their use, we will surely run into foes on the way. We should move once we're ready. Don't give me that look, Dante. I'm simply not in a position to comment on it. Damn it, Faust! Why you gotta be so difficult? Again, I keep expecting to hear the Kanto 2 boss theme. Ah well. Again, really aside from that one fight, not too bad. Again, I'm trying to keep things relatively lower level so I don't power through a bunch of fights. Unterführung. How the fuck do you pronounce that? I don't speak German. Despite being from Wisconsin, I don't speak German. Or no German, like, at all. Again, not the worst. And you know what? I really should be saving for Walpurgis, but also... Oh, hold up. Okay. Diechi Merceau. Not the Merceau I was hoping for, but still not the worst. Diechi Merceau, I should say. Diechi is a discard and sinking. Yeah. I guess sinking is our way to go. Then we have Butler. Obviously, Wild Hunt is the #1 guy that we have. Perfect. Snap him up to there. How much thread do we have? It's just gonna replace Blade Lineage. You know what? Nah, I'll do them at the start of next time. I'll I'll get Diachi and Deviat both up to Uptie 3. Because it's 100 for a 3-star to get to level Uptie 3. Which again, Uptie 3 is like, generally speaking, you want to get everything up to Uptie 3 if you have the resources. Uptie 4, on the other hand, that just kind of depends on the ID a lot of the time. And like what you're going to fully do with them. There's some that it just like doesn't matter. For example, if we go on over to RB Chef de Cuisine Ryoshu, like really the only change I believe really is one more HP healing down on the skill 2. The defense gains a affinity, and you gain one more of her special buff. Like, Chef de Cuisine, really don't bother with Uptie 4ing that unless you literally have nothing else to do with it. Meanwhile, if we look at, is it a standard fare? Yes, Ring Pointless Yi Song. Mainly I want to look at the skill 2. Right here we have, 20% chance to reach 20% chance to reuse the coin, 20% more chance for every type of negative effect. Meanwhile, with the 4, it, 1, can reuse again, and 2, if you have, basically it ends up being, if you have 2 statuses on it, then it reuses the coin, because he inflicts a status himself. Kim Ji-hoon fucking hates Ring Pointless, by the way. It's hilarious. But yeah, I'll get these 2 up to level 3, to Uptie 3, and yeah. I'll probably save a lot of thread for a while, just until I get, probably, again, for Walpurgis, but, I mean, hey, I got him or so, in significantly quicker time than I did on my main file, because I think I've only ever pulled, like, 2 Merceaus. Whatever. Regardless, that'll do it for this time. Next time, we'll be heading into the dungeon, but until then, see you guys later.